Got that big cover I bought for this and thought I'd get out here today and put it on. Well, I didn't. It just kind of seems pointless when as soon as the first warm enough day, I gotta get up there and re-grout, what's the word, seal, caulk everything. It doesn't leak anyway, best I can tell. So that's that. Oh, yeah, still here. Still a big mess. Haven't been out here. You know, I've been thinking on this whole situation. You know, so I guess we'll deal with that. Don't know. Anyhow, glad you guys decided to hang out again. I didn't scare you at the last one, huh? Let's try again. I bet I'll scare you this time. Well, place is still a mess. Like I was saying, really what I want to do is get the brakes back on this MGA type thing. Suspension hooked back up, wheels and tires on it. Put it outside. Then I'll clean, organize, and put away stuff. You know, plan is turn around backwards, do the rear end. Hopefully it's not as extravagant. Probably not. Anyhow, get it all done up, get the bottom of the car cleaned up and painted, get the body back on the car, and shove it over here, kind of where the body is now, so that way I have all this room to pull all the interior stuff that I need to pull out of the camper into here, figure out what I'm doing, and get all that started. You know, just so that part of it's done before springtime, maybe. So then I can do brakes and mechanical stuff outside when it's nice enough. It's not much nicer in here. I do have the stove going. I'm thinking next year I might do some insulating, sealing, or, you know, spray foam, something. It's kind of tough in the wintertime. It takes a couple hours for it to warm up in here and make it bearable. So I don't get much done. Well, anyhow, I've got a parts caliper that I think was complete, or parts of a caliper, maybe half a caliper over there, and all them parts. So I'm probably going to dig through there, find out what side it is. Is it usable? What am I going to do? That way I'm not beating my brains out over the wrong side when I've got a replacement. I know, I think it was this side. It's really bad. It's worse than that one. So, well, I don't know. I'll get back to you. Give me a few. Thanks for coming again, guys. Talk in a sec. Well, did get lucky on the extra brake caliper because it's in pieces. The book says you're not supposed to take these halves apart like this. You're supposed to take one piston out at a time, clean it, new seals, put it back together, unless you replace the 3 bolts and the seals that go across. You know, I mean, I guess I could do that, but it does appear that the seal goes into the housing and it seals on the piston. It makes it easier to get the piston out, if I can get it out, and clean the piston up, clean this up inside while it's kind of together like this. I don't know. Like I said, this one will move a tiny bit. I can squeeze it with a pair of pliers, blow air into it, and it goes poof, about as far out as it is now. The other one doesn't move at all. So there is an outer dust seal. I'm probably going to try to dig out first, get the PB blaster in there and work them things out. You know, I don't know, I've already broke the pin. Sort of like Brembo brakes or some of your other you know, Japanese kind. They have a pin that holds the pads in. You can slip them out of the back. That's what this setup is. But I've already broke one of the pins, so I could probably drill it out. Pretty sure I can buy those pins. They're probably next to nothing. I just I don't know. We'll spend a little bit of time checking it out, see what we can do. If it runs into a safety issue, we're just going to have to buy a pair of calipers. Back in the day, rebuilt brake calipers all the time, but they weren't like this. You know, had one big piston, you blow it out onto a piece of a piece of 2x4 and clean it up, put new seals in it, put it back together, down the road. Of course, those calipers weren't sitting around for 55 years, not getting used. So, but did find some cool stuff. I think old Ralph Sr. had a plan. There's two caliper rebuild kits. I've got two carburetor rebuild kits, 2 wheel cylinder rebuild kits, 2 caliper brake seals like I already bought, front wheel grease seals that I already bought, already put in the car, a bunch of the trim. There's some other stuff and another thing I found. A whole set of brand new brake pads that I already bought, but they were only like, you know, $16, so it's not a huge deal. A little rear view mirror action. One of the taillights were broke. Well, here's another one. The brake cables are all trashed. There's new brake cables. Miscellaneous gaskets. You know, I've got 2 distributors. One that looks pretty decent, but it's froze. It won't turn. The other one, it's froze and it won't turn. And maybe between the two, found the intake manifold. There's, you know, probably all the parts when they took the motor out of it originally. Oil jug there. Look at that. Headlight to a tractor. Got another clutch over there. Never know. I mean, there is just part of one seat, a heater box, got an extra radiator, and it's full of dirt, but you know, I grabbed it. A couple of dashes, you know, wiring harnesses, horn buttons, valve covers. There's a taillight that goes to something not on this car. Oh, and there's speaker grills, there's all kind of stuff. So hopefully all the parts are here for this car. It's just a puzzle, you know. Well, I don't know. Let me get all this stuff put away. Jeez. I'm gonna work on a brake caliper. Progress. Yes. So, dug out the old dirt seal off the outside. Apparently that's what was holding it, not so much the inside. So this rust is where, you know, on the outside side of the seal that you can now see is right there. Once I got that dug out of there, and she just blew out of there a ton. So I'd soon get both of them out, get it all cleaned up, clean this whole caliper up in solvents and brake cleans, acetones, lacquer thinner maybe, I don't know, and then put it all back together. But I don't know. See, I have to probably use my finger to stick in there and plug off the hole, so that way I can blow this one out into my finger. I don't know. We'll try something. All right, let's keep going. It's looking up. Up. Okay. Well, there we go. Got 2 pistons out of the first caliper, and I think they're going to clean up. And this rusty stuff, that'll clean up, and that's outside of the seal anyway, so that's just the dust seal. So I think we're doing pretty well, at least on this side. Figure I'll go ahead and try to get these bleeders. There's 2 bleeders, one on each side. Figure I'll you know, just try to put some heat on them. I know on these old cars there's no sense in even trying, because they'll break off. I don't have anything in here I'm too worried about hurting, so let that eat and get hot. See if I can get them out. You know, low torch style. Don't do this at home like I did. Well, rebuilding calipers are, you know, pretty good idea. Just not really going to be cost effective. If you look, These really don't look that bad. Sorry, my camera's cold, so because it's cold, you know. That one's not. That one's been cleaned up. Look at that. So even if the inner seal, which holds the brake pressure, is behind this, which in this case it wouldn't be, the outer dirt seal would just let dirt and junk and moisture, and we'd be right back where we're at. Now you can buy pistons. They're $60 a piece. Each caliper has 2 pistons. So if I bought 4, that's $240 just to rebuild these. These are the factory Lockheed original ones. You know, we'll keep them, I suppose. Well, I went ahead and got some aftermarket jobbies. They look pretty much look the same. They don't have Lockheed on them. $189 I think for the pair. Springs and clips, because the old ones, the pins wouldn't come out. They were froze, so I had to buy pins. That I had to buy these spring clips that go behind and hold the brake pads in there. Had to buy brake lines anyway. So I got all this right here, $333. You know, and it's brakes. If we're going to spend money on something, let's spend money on making it stop and steer and be controllable. You know, we're saving some money there, I think. Well, let me find my hardware, get it all cleaned up, painted, whatever I decide I want to do. Get this thing together finally. Oh, I got to clean up my tie rod ends. They're actually in pretty good shape. They're $50 for a pair. And by the time you start buying everything new, it just adds up. Me and old Ralph, we ain't got the money. It's a budget. Well, she rolls again. I just got her pushed out, turned around. It's nice for little cars. You don't need any help. Got our brakes on, new brake line, brake pads, rotors. Oh, touch-ups with some Pour 15 or some paint here before all the way done, but I've also got to redo the bracket. The bumper bracket goes on the front here. Put it on before we put the body on. So, plan for the rear end is really not much. I need to put a pinion seal in it, the leaf springs, the bushings. I'll look at them closer, but so far they look pretty good. Gas tank out. Find out if we can reuse it, reseal it, clean it. It looks like it's pretty solid. Redo the rear brakes and paint everything up. Probably have to replace or rebuild on that there fuel pumper thing. It's got electric fuel pump. Huh. Anyhow, we'll get her pushed in there after I sweep the floor. And we'll call this a video. Alright. It's back in. The rear end pointed in my face. We'll get this section done. Get the engine and transmission dolled up, get it set in, get the body back on. Then do body work. That's Bondo. Big dent was right there. Huh. It's fine. So for now I'm gonna work on a little tractor. We got more snow coming this week, 3 to 5 inches, and if there's any wind I'll have 13 feet in my driveway, so I'm gonna finally be prepared for once, maybe. All right. Anyhow, appreciate you guys coming back to hang out. I didn't scare you the last time or the time before that. Joke's on you. You came back. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.